Kevin Powell. Been with the company here be 4 years this coming February. Prior to that, I was on the farm managed a couple livestock operations. So this has actually been my first job off farm. Been quite a different experience. And what's considered a territorial sales manager. Basically, today I might be selling precision ag. Tomorrow I might be selling feed and livestock supplies to the next guy down the road. So what I do kind of encompasses a large area as far as what I do. So and this is part of it with the precision ag. Everything from soil sampling on up to writing prescriptions on crop recommendations, nutrient recommendations. It kind of runs the gambit. I kind of started off doing the soil sample. Now I write prescriptions, and I have kind of moved on up from basics. Like I said, starting first job off the farm in a large number of years, so I kind of had to relearn a lot of stuff. I've always liked numbers. I've always liked being able to take a field, split it up, and look at the actual numbers. What's getting produced off of it? What does it cost to produce? How can we return revenue back to that client that we're working with? We are providing a complete service. Now, saying that, it doesn't mean that we have to go out to every producer and sell him the whole gambit of what we offer. I mean, we can do anything from going out taking just a straight soil sample to we can sit down with the producer and do soil samples by variable rate, by management zones. We can write seeding prescriptions for variable rate seeding. I mean, there's a wide range of opportunity there. Well, that's what you've got to go out and improve yourself to that client, that the service you're providing is bringing him income in on the other end of it. And that's really the only true way that we can go out and build then. I mean, by him looking at you and say, well, he's providing that service. And I know it's not a visible service that you can see dollars coming out right away, but when you look at it in the long run, it's very important. I think the best way is when I've got clients that come back to me after you work with them and look at me and say, I was real skeptical to start with. I thought I was spending a lot of money to get this done, but now that I've looked at it and we've done it a couple of years, that is paying off. And even customers that you'll have clients that occasionally you'll start with them, they won't come back for you next year, but then a third year rolls around and say, well, we tried it the first year, I liked it, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't. And now we went back and looked at it again, so yeah, we need to. It's a repeat business there that you're looking for. That's probably the toughest part of it right now, with the commodity market and the shape it was in. When I came into this particular job as it was, we were riding pretty high corn and soybean prices, so everybody was looking at precision ag. I would say retention-wise, we're probably breaking even. I think there's a good possibility now that we're in a down market, when you can start showing your clients that there's a value to the service, I would look for that number to jump. If you want to boil it down to the simplest thing, it's on a per acre basis. I mean, most of your billing charges are dropped back on a per acre basis. Now we do have our programs, the discovery program and everything that we start with. If a customer just wants to get into it. But like I said, everything is basically on a per acre basis and figure from there. And that's why I said it's almost like a la carte type system. I mean, you can tailor everything we do to an individual producer. Yeah, I have done prescription fertilizer recommendations where a guy, he could have 50 acres, but only 10 of it actually needs fertilizer. So I'm not going to charge him for 50 acres of service work to do 10 acres of field, if it can be mapped out and done properly. Well, I mean, when everything kind of started out, it was just we were looking at fields, and we were going to go out and grid sample. We were going to do 2.5 acre grids out in the field, and we were going to solve everybody's issues with 2.5 acre grids. Then it evolved into start looking at management zones, and everybody moved over to sampling and started management zones, and that didn't quite turn out the way it was supposed to be. So we've kind of morphed really into going out, doing our 2.5 acre grids, coming back with management zones after that. Also with the addition of satellite imagery now, where we can do in-season checks of the crops that are being grown, and go back to the producer and say, hey, you've got this field over here that's showing some issues, we need to correct it now. So it's continuously evolving. I would say the accumulation of the data and being able to put it in a usable format. We have so many different formats of data coming in there, so much different hardware. And one of the things that I've really liked since coming on with Southern States is they haven't been sitting there trying to sell a piece of hardware. They've been taking trying to accumulate all that data into a usable form for the producer. And that's what I see a lot of producers looking for. They want somebody to be able to sit down in a timely manner and explain what all these maps are, what all this data is, and put it in a usable format for them. Well, I mean, I might have some producers that will have a planter with one monitor on it, a combine with one monitor on it, that do not talk to each other as far as data flow. And where we can step in the middle and help with that, I mean, makes a big difference. I think we're just scratching the surface. I think we probably maybe hitting 10% out there now. I think there's a large amount of agriculture out there for us to get, and not just straight crops. People think soybeans and corn. The area that I am, there's a lot of livestock, so you got pasture and hay that could also be tied into precision ag. I mean, there's a whole area there that really hadn't been looked in. I've got a couple small produce guys. Actually, I got a soybean producer that does produce too, and I've actually grid sampled his produce areas. So I've got a couple customers that I keep trying to get, that I've done sampling for the first year, and that I keep trying to get them to come back and work with the programs. And I sit down with them each year, and I haven't fully got them back yet, but each year they tell me how good the program, what we have done for them in the past has worked. So I mean, that's not exactly an anecdote, but it's something I'm seeing now.